Hey Baron, Paul here. So I think this might be close to a repeat of an earlier video update, but you were asking some specific questions. I'm going to try to remember them all. So one thing that we found, you had wanted us to have the tack rebuilt, and so we took it out and we verified that the cable was okay, and the cable was not okay. So I don't think he's got it installed yet, but we got you a new tachometer cable, and we verified that the tack is actually okay. So we reinstalled the tachometer, so that was. And then you asked specifically also about the ski toe, and so what we did with the ski toe is those are carriage bolts that come through the bottom. Now that sounds really scary, but there's a carriage bolt that comes through the bottom. There's a carriage bolt that comes through the keel. There's a carriage bolt that comes through the keel. Every frame station's got a carriage bolt that comes through the keel. So that's not a big deal. It's all sealed off with 350-200. Now, one thing that we did observe is that when you pull on a ski toe, and I can't pull on it and be the cameraman too, but it moves this arch a bit. So what we have a solution in mind, and that is we can get some rail fittings that clamp on this, and then we'll run a stiff arm back to this area right here, and it'll be, when this gets pulled on, it'll pull back on the stiff arms. That should keep this from moving. And of course, when it pulls on the stiff arms, it'll try to pull this up, and of course it can't pull it up. So that should make that real rigid. Let's see, of course, here's your new tank. You've seen that before, I believe. The engine, I believe you put it back on the rack, pallet rack. I'm not positive. I'll take a quick look while I'm out here. No, I guess it should be on a pallet in here still. And we haven't lost it if it's not in the engine room over here. We haven't lost it. Like me, I've never been lost, but I've been bewildered a time or two. So I'm going to have to, he's put it back on the rack, on one of the pallet racks. But that's all complete. So the engine's complete, the framework's complete, and we're ready to move forward when you are with maintenance coats or strip and refinish, whatever it is you want to do. There's the engine. So you have a new, new single wire alternator. That was every bit as cheap as just getting it rebuilt. Your starter's been rebuilt. Also have a new solenoid, and in the case of the solenoid not operating, there's a little plunger on top. You can manually operate that. Carburetors are rebuilt. Let's see. Fuel pumps rebuilt. And of course you have new hoses. So these are expensive because these are hydraulic hoses. And we could get the ends, put on it at Napa. They're not really all at high pressure, but they're higher pressure than, it goes from like 50 PSI to 1,000 PSI. So, and these might not be 1,000, but I guess these looks like maybe 800. But anyhow, you'll have about 125 PSI on your lines. So this is for your oil. This is your oil cooler, your remote oil filter, and this is your oil cooler for your transmission. And we changed all the hoses. So as you can see, those are all changed. They were pretty aged, and so there we go. So I'll send this out to you, and then I'm about done this evening, but maybe give me a call tomorrow if you have any other questions or any other comments, and kind of tell me what your plan is. Thank you, sir. Bye.